Hey, coming up right now, Wall Street's iconic bull statue vandalized. We'll tell you about it.
Also coming up, one of America's largest RV dealers closes its doors over a fight involving Old Glory.
Wow, a little bit later on. ABC staffers are bracing for a major meltdown between two stars.
It's about to get chilly in the hallways. Daily Flash starts right now.
Get ready for trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. The fun starts right now. This is Daily Flash.
Hey everyone, I'm Andrea Jackson.
Hi, everybody. Mitch English, and this is Daily Flash. Yay! We're going to regionals. Look over there, you buddy. It's James. He's working the floor today.
James
is our social media dude, so
Yes.
he answers your things and so much more, posts it. And then to my right is Matt Cornelius Doolittle. How are you, baby?
Thank you, Mitch Adias. So you can go to our website, dailyflashshow.com, see all the behind-the-scenes stuff that James does. And also, I do a thing called Preview Review, which once on May 22nd, I will be able to review the new Mission Impossible movie because I got my IMAX tickets yesterday. And I'm going to do a prop. Oh, yeah. This is Tom Cruise's. This is going to be Tom Cruise's greatest film, I think.
The first one was good. I'm excited to see the second installment of this latest version since it's a two-parter.
And because it's all about scary AI stuff.
And this is it?
Oh, that's right.
Is this the last one?
That's for him, right?
Final Reckoning. It's what they're saying.
Maybe.
He may come back like a wrestler in the night.
Pre-reckoning and a pre-reckoning, and then we're going to
all the missions will be possible after that point. So.
He's already showing off his stunts. Like already the plane thing he's flying around.
I want to see if he winds up getting an Academy Award because now stunt work is now part of the.
He should have one at this point.
Because he does his own stunts.
Yes. Speaking of scary AI stuff, do you guys watch Black Mirror?
Yes.
I've seen a few episodes. I like it. I didn't know what it was until somebody said it's like the Twilight Zone. I'm like, oh, okay.
On steroids.
Yeah, it's really cool.
You sent me this link to the story, but it's so funny because I watched this episode and I had to rewind it. It's an episode called Bête Noire, and it's about a woman who works in a food company.
Okay.
And she's got a boyfriend. He's wearing a hat. And on the hat, it has Bernie's on it.
Bernie's.
But in the episode, she meets this former colleague, and the former colleague is gaslighting her, and all her coworkers are gaslighting her, saying, "No, it's Benny's. It's Benny's." Anyway, Netflix had Black Mirror shoot two versions of the hat scene.
That's cool.
And when I watched this, I'm like, I know that hat said Bernie's, and I rewound
So you
the whole
did- you
thing.
felt for it.
I felt for it, but it did say Bernie's when I rewound it. But so I think some of the episodes will say Benny's on it. I think I'm getting that
Are they
right.
trying to
That's
Are they
smart.
trying to
Versus
Mandela
Benny's.
affect
Isn't
you?
it?
That's so
Yeah,
smart,
isn't
though.
that crazy? Yeah, it's
Because
super
everybody's
smart.
going to argue. It said Bernie. No,
Yes.
it said
Yes.
Bernie.
It's
It said this,
the
it said
talking
that.
about
Yep.
it, right?
It's like I was saying, the Mandela effect. They're trying to purposely do that.
That is so
Yes.
smart. I like it.
Yeah, so it's a terrific angle to this whole.
I think it's
series.
great. I think this is the good part of watching shows like on streaming because there was a show with, I call him Gus from Breaking Bad, but I can't think of his name right now. But anyway, they did this whole series. And it was all about colors. Every episode a different color.
And you pick the color.
You could pick, and you could watch any episode in any order, and it still made sense. And I did just that.
Yes.
It was really cool. I love that they're able to do stuff like that.
That was a really neat option. But Black Mirror,
Black
man,
Mirror
I
is,
gotta tell you.
I have just started watching it, and I knew that you were a fan of it. So when I had read that, I was like, hey, did you see this? And you're like, yeah, I did the exact same thing.
Some of the stuff that they do is terrifying because you think, okay, this is happening right now before our very eyes, and people are just sort of like, la, 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 la.
The video game characters making out was the one that got me. I was like, oh, that's intense.
Yeah.
Now I gotta watch it.
By the way, his name's Juan Carlo Esposito.
Thank you.
Yes.
He's in everything.
He's
but
in everything.
He's that guy from everything. He's like our baby Billy.
Yeah, he's a great actor doing that. Forgive me, Juan Carlos. Alrighty, let's jump into some trending stories here. There's a group of climate protesters vandalized the Wall Street charging bull statue with bright green graffiti. You know which bull we're talking about. They wiped it all off, though, because they're wussies, because they noticed cops were coming their way. Yeah, they are. I said wussies. They spray painted the words "green equals death" along with their brand. The vandals then scrubbed it all off, all in an attempt to erase any evidence of destruction. The sculpture made by a Sicilian immigrant which was installed in front of the stock exchange back in 1989. It was later moved a couple blocks south of its current location. And that's the thing. It's like you taking ownership of this, thinking that you own this, so I'm going to get our. And I still think they should be arrested, no
Yes.
matter what.
Yes.
Vandalism is vandalism. You know why? You know, obviously it's to get attention and this sort of thing. But you know what? Now I can't appreciate that because you went and spray painted it all up. I just hate when people think that that's how they have to get their voices
Yeah,
heard.
I don't mind you protesting, but once you start damaging property, other people's property, that's where I think you cross the line, and they should be arrested. And I think that's starting to happen. So I think maybe they're having second thoughts about spray painting because they think, oh, okay, now I actually could get arrested and I could actually face charges.
Who's the person that's got to go wipe down the cojones?
I heard it say,
That's.
who's going in there?
I was just in New York a couple weeks ago, and people go take their like 2-year-olds up and take pictures there, so they had to have spray painted the
Yeah.
cojones.
In Durham, North Carolina, they have a bull there too, and same exact thing. And I have a 13-year-old son who. Let me go do it. I want to take a picture. By the dudes, by the bulls, manhood.
Yeah, okay.
Whatever.
Rocky Mountain Oysters.
Now, will he have the hanging ones off of the back of his pickup truck?
No, I'm giving him my.
When Enzo gets your truck, those are going on it.
Which and so the kid is so funny. He was talking about like I go, yeah, when you turn 15, I'll give you this truck, and he's telling me all these things he's going to do to me. I'm going to lower it. I'm going to put all this stuff. I'm like, dude, good luck.
Yeah.
I'm like just listening to him, and
And how are you going to pay for that?
that's the thing. It's like. He's gonna put lights and ground effects. So
it's gonna be like from the 90s?
Canyon, dude. Relax.
Yeah, it's not.
200,000 miles on
It's not
it.
an El Camino.
You're gonna be putting a new engine in this thing for it. Yeah, it's not an El Camino. I love that kid.
With the see-through hood. Yeah, I can't wait to see this.
In a banana costume.
Fuzzy dice.
Yeah.
Fuzzy dice.
Fuzzy dice. Camping World in North Carolina has decided to close its doors following a battle over a giant American flag.
Wow.
The CEO says he was forced to shut down operations at the smaller of the two locations after the city council sued him for violating a city ordinance by flying Old Glory. And they continue to impose fines. The unexpected closing comes as the legal battles heat up between the city and the business. Camping World had 2 stores in Greenville. The city says the flag, which is in the center of all this, is almost the size of a basketball court spanning 3,200 square feet, and the pole it flies from is around 130 feet tall, almost double the current allowed size.
Okay, so the only thing that I could why are they doing this? This is the American flag. Obviously, it's something of great pride and that sort of thing. Is okay. Well, somebody next door could put a Russian flag. I'm just going to grab, on the same side. So I'm with the city council on that thing. But it seems like, you know what, this is a great sense of pride. To me, if I saw a huge flag like that, it would make, it's got a sense of pride.
Yeah.
It would swell up and almost to the point where some people, I would imagine, take their picture with it as well. And they know it as a landmark.
Now, if it's a matter of safety, I can understand that. But somebody brought up the point, like, well, what if it was a Black Lives Matter flag?
Yeah,
or
right.
what if it was a Pride flag? Or what if it was the X, Y, and Z flag? Would they be forced to take it down, or would they be fined? So it's sort of like, are people just picking and choosing their battles, and is it okay to contest this because it's the American flag? I would think just the opposite. And could you imagine if this was right after 9/11?
Yeah,
Would
it
this
would not
ever
have
be
happened,
a conversation? Would there ever be
Nope.
fines?
Nope, not at
no,
all.
zero.
So
James.
I just have a quick question. You
Yeah.
just said that the pole exceeded the limitation set by the.
Yes.
So why not just make the pole shorter and leave the flag alone?
I would imagine it probably wouldn't look as. That's a good
You know what I'm
question.
Yeah.
saying? And
No,
so
great question.
Now they can't say anything though.
But maybe the pole and the flag are, I don't know.
There's not that many issues that James doesn't know when it comes to poles. So.
I'm just saying.
No,
James,
that's a bit,
have you ever been in a club with a pole that
with
tall?
that-
Hey, I've been
a
to
very
multiple
tall girl.
clubs with poles. I even met Larry Flint. I met him when he opened up in
you?
Baltimore.
Yeah, he
That's
wants
right.
to move to Poland. That's,
That's
how much
it.
he loves.
That's it. There's some fine women there.
Yeah, they are. I'm sad about this though because
I am too.
there's so many. I understand like what the city's doing, but why not allow? Hey, you know what? Let's take it to vote.
Yeah.
Let's say, hey, look, can they get a special permit for this? This is, American flag we're talking about, and at a time where we need to be proud as Americans,
Yes.
and a great thing to look at too. Oh, glory! I put a flag. My hand in the heavens. I just put a flagpole up in the front of our house.
Yep.
It's a great feeling
Yeah,
to have.
it
that.
is, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
And I just think to myself, aren't there other issues maybe in Greenville that they should be focused on? And the city council is fining
so.
this business and this guy because of this. It makes zero sense to me. Like that's where, to me, it's as they call it, an 80-20 or a 90-10 issue. 90% of the people are in favor of this. 10% aren't. So why did the 10% get the voice in all this?
We would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
Head to our website right now. It's dailyflashshow.com. There you can hit the sound off button. Let us know about this and what you think, because we'd love to hear all sides of this, of having Old Glory up in the air. Hey, we're going to be talking about coping with job loss. We have an expert coming in from Los Angeles. We're talking about maybe you've recently lost your job. You're trying to figure out what's the next step. We have answers for you. All that's
if you're
coming up
facing
next.
severance, we've got you covered.
Hi, Chef.
Hello.
What is the best tip for seasoning?
Seasoning, well, we're always taught in culinary school we want to season from higher. If you think about it, when you season from higher, it's going to spread more. If we go too close, it's just going to spread in that area, whereas we want height. So about between 8 to 12 inches. If you take a look now, I'm 8 to 12 inches. I'm coming across and it's evenly coating the salmon. We're just covering it 8 to 12 inches above. And this is kosher salt. We always use kosher salt in the kitchen because it comes off the fingers easily. And once again with pepper, 8 to 12 inches. You can see we're just coming off. And that's the easiest way to season. Always freshly milled pepper. Don't buy that other stuff. 8 to 12 inches, you'll always get a good even coating.
Losing a job is never easy, and it can take a major toll on someone's self-worth and their confidence. Our next guest has a new book out called The Layoff Journey. Steve Jaffe joins us now with some advice on how to navigate this emotional roller coaster and figure out what is next. Hi, Steve. Welcome to Daily Flash.
Hi, thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
So you have 5 tips or coping strategies when it comes to job loss. Let's start with the first one. You say shock and denial. That is the part of the first stage, and you need to ground yourself in reality.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about the stages of grief. People go through these after a divorce, after a layoff, after the death of a loved one, and they're very real. Shock and denial is one of the very first ones, although they don't necessarily follow in a very linear manner. But grounding yourself in reality is really important. You have to acknowledge what happened. You don't want to ignore or minimize it. And accepting that the layoff is real is really the first step in moving forward and moving through the effects of a layoff.
Okay, you also mentioned anger, which we know is one of the 7 stages of grief. You say anger is okay, so maybe we should embrace it.
Absolutely, it's normal, and you want to give yourself permission to feel angry. You just don't want to let it consume you. And you want to use that energy to set some boundaries, learn from the experience, and plan your next move.
You also say it's important to think about shifting your mindset from what if to what's next. I think a lot of people go down that what if rabbit hole. What if I could have, shoulda, woulda. But you're saying you need to shift that and ask, what's next for you?
So often people will blame themselves for the layoff, that maybe they've done something, and they go through that loop of if only I had, what could have I have done different? And instead of thinking about it that way, you want to frame it as what's next, so that you're really processing the future possibilities, and really kind of use that opportunity to evaluate your goals, maybe pivot or pursue something that you've always wanted to do. But spend your time and energy on thinking about what's next, not about what happened and what you might have been able to change.
Yeah, that is so important because it's easy to get lost in that spin cycle. You also say number 4 on your list, prioritize self-care and mental health. Well, this is really important, especially right now.
Yeah, I feel like this is probably one of the most important things. Um, Healthy self-care, positive mental health is like money in the bank. It's like putting deposits in. This will help you throughout the journey as you manage and cope with all of the stages of grief. You want to give yourself a daily routine, some structure, whether that's exercise, maybe it's reaching out for support, therapy, career coaching, talking to friends. You really don't want to go through it alone. So making sure that you're getting enough rest, you're eating well, you're exercising, all of these things, setting yourself up in a positive frame of mind.
And you also say part of the process, number 5 on your list, is acceptance and moving on. And sometimes it's hard to accept our current situations, but you say this is key.
Yeah, this is where you can really take control of your next chapter. A layoff doesn't define you. What you do next does. So you want to redefine success on your own terms, and make sure that you are really listening to yourself and processing all of the stages in a way that you come out of it, maybe having some growth, some reinvention, and hopefully some resilience.
I think depending on a good, strong social network of real friends, of people in person, as opposed to being on social media, could be another important part of the journey here. And I just want to get your opinion right now. We're seeing a lot of changes in the workplace with AI coming on, with certain companies downsizing for things being streamlined. What's the best approach when it comes to maybe dealing with someone who's going through this? How can we be of help?
Yeah, I think it's important to understand that about 40% of all Americans have been laid off in their career at least once. So everyone in some way, shape, or form has gone through or is going through this. And having some empathy, having an understanding that typically with most layoffs, the person that's being laid off isn't at fault. They're the victim of some sort of economic or budgetary reason why the company had to downsize. So it's easy for someone who's been laid off to feel some shame and embarrassment, and those around them want to help them process it in a way where they don't feel like they're to blame. That kind of blame game can get a really slippery slope in terms of things like we mentioned, your mental health, and certainly anger and some of the other stages. So I think the first step in feeling like, listen, this was a circumstance beyond my control, and I'm going to move through it. I'm going to move past it, and those around them helping prop them up and give them the resources to get through it.
Steve, thank you so much. For more information and to get a copy of Steve's book, The Layoff Journey, please visit thestevejaffe.com.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Mitch English. It's time for us to check in with Tony Toscano to find out what's coming out of Hollywood and straight to your screen, no matter what size you're going to watch it on. With the latest, here's Tony.
Thanks, Mitch. Streaming on BritBox is the murder mystery series Toward Zero. It's based on a short story by Agatha Christie.
I like a good detective story. But they begin in the wrong place. They begin with the murder. No. The murder is the end. The story begins long before.
In this 3-episode series, Inspector Leach probes a failed suicide, a false theft charge, and a tennis star's love life, culminating into a murder plot. I chatted with series stars Ella Lily Highland and Oliver Jackson Cohen.
And there's a moral question totally of being like, what's right and what's wrong and what's acceptable and what's not. And then when you have that in an era like the 30s, like that, it's also against the backdrop of that era's morals and what was right and wrong then and what were the allowances then. So I think that's what, like, the questions, I guess, that I would imagine I would ask myself if I was an audience member, is what I deem acceptable and what isn't acceptable.
Not only is, it's a murder mystery, so the sort of the setup of that is incredibly enjoyable and, exciting to kind of figure out as you go along the journey. But these relationships and the complexity of these relationships that play out are also, I think, a really exciting thing for an audience to see.
Toward Zero is a solid and very British murder mystery, well worth your time to experience. Again, it's streaming on BritBox and gets a B. It's not rated. Streaming on Apple TV Plus is the comedy drama series Government Cheese.
While I was away, I came up with a plan that's gonna make our family the toast of Chatsworth.
A drill.
It self-sharpens as it works.
You need to call it the Bit Magician.
I like that. I'm not doing smash and grabs anymore. I'm on the righteous path.
A what? In the series, an ex-convict is striving to leave his criminal history behind and reunite with his family. I chatted with series stars David Oyelowo and Simone Isaac.
She is a creative, and although she's a homemaker and a wife and a mother, she has larger aspirations for herself. I think that it's just beautiful to be able to explore even her dating choices. I mean, she's so unique in a way that I love what Paul created and what we were able to bring to the screen.
My dad used to drive the car that's in your driveway.
Oh, wow. That was one of the amazing things about this show. The cars, the clothes, the music. I mean, just to be in that period, so cinematic on top of the writing and these characters we got to play. We just hope that the audience are able to delight in it the way we did.
Government Cheese is both dramatic and very, very funny as it weaves its story of a man searching for redemption and finding his path. This is a brilliant series, not to be missed. Again, it's streaming on Apple TV Plus and gets an A. It's not rated. For the Daily Flash, I'm film critic Tony Toscano.
Hey there, Tony. Well, ladies and gents, welcome to your Daily Digits. And your first digit is 1, and that's the amount of countries that this wasn't shown in. Snow White has officially been banned in Lebanon, not for the reasons you might think. The country's interior minister pulled the movie over Gal Gadot's involvement, given her ties to Israel. A move that's more about long-standing politics than the film itself. Now, Snow White had already been struggling at the global box office, failing to hit $200 million, and now this controversy is just another headache for Disney's live-action lineup. Don't worry, Lebanon, you didn't miss anything. Your next number today is Under the Sea for $400,000. Now, a haunting piece of Titanic history just fetched a staggering $400,000 at auction. A letter written by a first-class passenger and survivor, Colonel Archibald Grace, which of course is a 1912 name, penned just days before the ship's tragic sinking, sold to a private U.S. collector. In the note, mailed from one of the Titanic's tops in Ireland, Grace wrote, "It's a fallen ship, but I shall await my journey's end before I pass judgment on her." Words that now are, chillingly horrific. So, I mean, and let's all be honest, at the end, Leo should have lived, right?
He should have died.
That's what should have been in the note.
He should have survived.
Yeah, your next number today is 700. Woo! And that's the amount of days a sad puppy was stuck in a kennel. So if I cry, I cry. After spending over 700 days in a Texas shelter, a sweet dog named Max finally found his forever home, capturing hearts along the way. Despite his playful spirit and strong bond with his kennel mate, Max was repeatedly overlooked, leaving the shelter staff heartbroken. Refusing to give up, they launched a heartfelt campaign that ultimately led to Max's joyful adoption. His story is a powerful reminder of the love and resilience found at animal shelters, because the big thing with them is they didn't want to separate the two dogs. So I always love when dogs that have been sitting in there for 700 days, and social media has really been a big part of that. So.
Great, Matt, thank you. Stay with us. We're back right after this.
This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash.
Hey everybody, I'm Mitch English.
And I'm Andrea Jackson. This is Daily Flash. Today's trends, tomorrow's top.
All right, the Academy Awards. Everybody watches them every single year. How do you vote? How to become a member to vote?
You become an Academy member if you are within the business and you've been a part of a production that's been nominated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and that makes you a voting member.
All right. I was like blown away that this was not a rule, but starting this year, it actually will be. You have to have watched a nominated movie in order to vote for it.
How are they going to do this, though?
Okay, so first off, it's when they send you screeners,
yeah.
okay, it'll let you know if you've viewed it or not.
Yeah.
But some people go, well, I go and watch them in the theaters, which we should be doing because that's the whole theatrical thing. Mm-hmm. So you would have to fill out a form saying I saw it at this time, at this time. Here's proof that I had seen it. And to me, I'm like, okay, how are people even voting for this if they never saw the movie in the first place?
You'd be surprised.
Really?
Well, they'll get these screeners and they are bored out of their mind, or they know somebody who's in a movie. And I'm just speaking generically.
Generally,
These are
sure.
things that I've heard through the grapevine, where they just say, "Oh, I've worked with so and so. I'll vote for him. I'll give the screener to my nanny, and she can watch the movie and tell me about it." That's how a lot of it.
And that
goes.
you would
Yes.
think that and it's taken this long for them to go, hey, look, you got to watch the movie. So that maybe we might see different winners, because sometimes they're like, how did that win?
Yes, and with the Academy, I should also mention too, when it comes to voting, it used to be that you had to be a part of a particular production or be nominated for a particular project. But in recent years, within the last 5 years or so, they've opened it up to other people because they wanted some diversity and they wanted some different vantage points when it comes to voting, because they were saying the Academy voters were growing so old, and they felt like a lot of those folks were out of touch.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I can see that. So we're seeing lots of changes in the
Yes,
Academy Awards with,
exactly.
with casting directors now and, stunt
stuntmen,
and stuff.
yeah.
And now you have to actually watch
The other problem I have with it is they're forcing people into a box. In order to be nominated, you have to check all of these DEI boxes in a film production, which I think takes away from the story. Like, if you want to tell a story, it's about telling a great story. It shouldn't be about checking boxes.
And the acting is, let's say you're an Italian playing an Indian person or whatever, that's acting, if you think about that.
Exactly.
But as long as everybody feels included, then that's what the Academy is trying to make them do, I would imagine. All right, feeling included, ABC staffers now bracing for a morning show meltdown.
Ooh, boy.
Former live co-host Kelly Ripa and she said, arch enemy Michael Strahan could actually be sharing the same elevator, believe it or not. Network is about to move the GMA from its Times Square studio to its new location where Live with Kelly and Mark, or Tape. Actually, that's the original place, I believe. Word has it that GMA's new set will be just steps away from Kelly Ripa's. The shows will also share a common hallway elevator, making awkward encounters between the two rivals likely. The rift between Ripa and Strahan started when Michael left the talk show to join Good Morning America and get out from what some actually described as a toxic environment, all created by Ripa. It's going to be interesting, but because listen, it's people that you don't see, but I can't see any knockdown dragouts or anything kind of problems.
No, but it'll be icy. I bet. I bet
indeed.
it'll be a little chilly.
Because
through
one
that
is going to
hallway.
be quitting work, and the other one's coming in. So.
Y'all make enough money, just get along.
Agreed. Yeah.
Y'all making a lot of money to not do a lot of work. Just get along, or come in the back door. If she goes out the other way, just
big egos, millions of dollars.
Shut up. Move forward, please. Just go.
Was there a backdoor reference?
There was.
I didn't say anything.
Matter of fact, how's your neck? His head. What? You know what? That's the beauty. Rewind is, what Matt said and how.
Oh wow! I just realized it. Okay.
It's like an episode of Black Mirror. What did we really say? Yes, you can rewind it. Yes, exactly.
It's not my fault.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not your fault. I just think in this kind of scenario with Michael Strahan, I think he was frustrated and he left the show, got an opportunity with GMA. He thought there was more opportunity there. A lot of people were upset with Kelly Ripa with the way she treated Regis Philbin.
I love this. Like, two people. Remember one time Kelly Ripa was on every single show on television on ABC. Now Michael Strahan's on every single television show on ABC and Fox.
And Fox during football
and
season.
His clothes and everything. And hey, I like them both actually. So we'll see that. It's called show business, not show friends. Keep that in mind, right?
That's good.
More Flash, more fun coming up right here. Don't you go anywhere. We'll be back. Hey everybody, it's time for a little air, land, and sea. It's time for a little flash travel. Let's talk about something that's really a total game changer. We're talking about traveling solo. Now, I know what you're thinking. Mitch, that sounds a little lonely. And sure, eating dinner alone might feel awkward if you spend the whole meal staring at your phone, fake texting people. Guilty. But we got a little secret for you. Traveling alone is actually absolute freedom. No compromises, no waiting on someone who needs just 10 minutes, which, by the way, it's actually 40 minutes. And the best of all, you actually get to be as selfish as you want. So whether you want a little adventure, maybe a little soul searching, or just an excuse to eat your weight in croissants without judgment, Here are my 5 top tips for traveling solo. Let's jump on in it, shall we? Here's our first tip. If this is your first solo trip, let's not start with a backpack, a jungle, and a vague hope for survival. Ease into it, okay? Go somewhere that's actually known for being solo friendly. Keep these things in mind and look for cities with great public transportation. You don't want to rent a car in a country where they actually drive on the opposite side of the road, right? Destinations where your native language is widely speaking is also a great idea, or even a domestic trip. Now remember, you don't have to cross an ocean to actually have an adventure. Now something we could take with us on these days are our smartphones, but keep this in mind. Solo travel is kind of like dating. You start off with like coffee, not, hey, want to move in together? I get it, you want to show everybody your amazing trip in real time, but if you spend the whole time staring at a screen, you're going to be missing out on the actual experience. Keep that in mind. Also, check in with family because if you don't, they're going to assume you've been taken, but also put the phone down and talk to locals. Get lost on purpose. Order something on the menu that you don't understand. Worst case scenario, you discover you hate things like pickled herring. And a pro tip, turn on the share my location with a trusted friend. That way, if you go missing, they'll at least know where you were, at least at that highly rated gelato shop. Am I right? All right, next tip is traveling solo is all about freedom. But keep in mind, let's not be too spontaneous. Book your first night stay and have a general idea of what you want to see. But don't overschedule yourself. Leave space for, say, random, unexpected magic. Because that's where the best travel stories happen. Like maybe you stumble into a festival you didn't even know existed, or maybe you end up at a cafe where an old man tells you the best story of your life. Or maybe, just be honest, maybe you're just sleeping in without guilt because no one's actually dragging you out to do something at a 7 a.m. hike. Keep in mind. Look, I love options as much as the next person, but you don't need 12 outfits for a 5-day trip. Am I right? Pack carry-on only. Trust me, the last thing you want is to be wrestling a giant suitcase with 5 flights of stairs, all into the charming but elevator-less European buildings. They're out there. This is what you can do. First off, make sure you have a comfortable pair of shoes, singular, not 5, a crossbody bag, because pickpockets do exist out there, a solid adapter, because foreign outlets, well, they're really tiny tricksters. And more importantly, a portable charger. Nothing will ruin your trip faster than being lost with 2% battery trying to remember how to say help in Italian. Okay, so if you have to like hanging out with yourself, this is the great way you do it. You just take yourself out to dinner. Enjoy a long walk. Sit in a cafe and just watch the world go by. You'll be amazed about how much more you see when you're not distracted by conversation or that phone. And if you feel lonely, well, just strike up a conversation. Locals are the way easier, and they love actually chatting with a solo travel than maybe a group of tourists. Some of the best travel stories come from random encounters, like the time I met that 80-year-old dude from Spain, and he once told me he danced with Audrey Hepburn. Was it true? No idea. It's a great story, nevertheless. Look, traveling solo doesn't have to be about being alone. It's about being free to explore, free to make your own decisions, and free to eat cake for breakfast with zero judgment. So book that flight and pack light and be open to new experiences. Share them with us as well. Head to our website, flashtraveltv.com.
Hey, there's less than a month to go till the FIFA Club World Cup kicks off in the United States, with some matches being played in New York, MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. The USA's very own Giovanni Reyna will be a part of the action, playing for the German powerhouse Borussia Dortmund, and he can't wait for the action to unfold on his home turf.
From June 14th to July 13th, 32 of the world's best club teams will compete across 12 U.S. venues in the FIFA Club World Cup. The tournament will feature the world's top players and coaches, including USA men's national team midfielder Gio Reyna.
I'm just excited to play a tournament in front of my home fans. Just to see these games live and all the best players in the world that are participating, I'm very excited. See the beautiful game being played in America is something unique and, something that doesn't happen very often. Come support all the European teams and all the teams over the world and just see some good football. Let's take it to the world.
Grab the chance to be part of history by watching the first ever 32-team FIFA Club World Cup live in New York, New Jersey.
This is how you can buy your tickets to watch the best club teams go head-to-head. Don't miss out. Buy them now.
In addition to the MetLife Stadium matches in New Jersey, the FIFA Club World Cup is taking place in 11 U.S. cities in total. Well, millions of Americans over 55 live with cardiovascular risk. A once-daily pill may help lower that risk. Here's more.
Heart disease is the leading cause of death in the U.S., but new research offers hope. A recent clinical trial shows that a once-daily anti-inflammatory medication may help reduce dangerous plaque in the arteries, offering new options for people living with heart disease. Cardiologist and program director at Harbor UCLA Medical Center, Dr. Matthew Budoff, explains how this breakthrough could change cardiovascular care.
We found that low-dose colchicine, 0.5 milligrams, can help reduce coronary plaque volume and inflammation in patients with heart disease. This may offer a new way to prevent future heart attacks or strokes by targeting a root cause, inflammation.
These findings build on prior research showing low-dose colchicine's role in lowering cardiovascular risk in high-risk patients, and it could be a vital part of your doctor's care plan.
When combined with other standard treatments, low-dose colchicine offers another tool to help patients live longer, healthier lives.
Learn more at cvdinflammation.com.
And now, some parenting tips that can develop a brighter future for your child. Check this out.
Whether it's tying shoes or calming big feelings, it's never easy for parents to see their little ones struggle. However, new research suggests that rushing in to save them may be doing more harm than good.
It's experience, not explanation, that's the key to raising emotionally strong and independent children. Making small changes to how we parent can make the difference, and forming strong communities can relieve some of the pressure on today's parents.
Visit lightbridgeacademy.com to learn more.
Hey, are you shopping for a new car? Volkswagen's latest lineup brings fresh design and innovations you don't want to miss. Here's more.
Looking to find just the right new car? You might want to give Volkswagen a second look. Nearly every vehicle in the Volkswagen lineup is either all new or has been recently redesigned, like this Tiguan SUV. The Tiguan is Volkswagen's best-selling model. For 2025, it boasts a more powerful turbocharged engine, 10 airbags, rain-sensing wipers, and a large touchscreen display. Available upgrades include a panoramic sunroof, 20-inch wheels, wood-trimmed interior, and a Harman Kardon audio system. Similarly, the Volkswagen Taos has been upgraded for 2025 as well, with a fresh new look, a fuel-efficient engine, and a new 8-speed transmission. Even the familiar Jetta gets an update for 2025. With fresh cars, premium value, and compelling tech, Volkswagen is definitely worth a second look.
Intellectual property is everywhere, and there's a new tool empowering creators to understand the difference between patents, trademarks, copyrights, and trade secrets. Here with more is Kristen Lurie, the Deputy Executive Director for the Intellectual Property Owners Education Foundation. So, Kristen, what is intellectual property?
Intellectual property refers to creations of the mind. So think inventions, artistic works, designs, and we want to be able to protect those creations through patents, trademarks, copyrights, and trade secrets.
So tell us about IP Buddy and how it will help future creators protect their work.
So our new tool is called IP Buddy, and this is an AI-generated tool where you can pick from 4 avatars. It's a free resource for innovators, aspiring innovators, or simply people who are curious about innovation and creation to learn more about intellectual property rights.
Is IP just for big companies?
A lot of people might not know about intellectual property, but it is the foundation of innovation, from big companies to small businesses to individuals. We are surrounded by intellectual property in our everyday lives, from the medications you might take in the morning to the technology you scroll on at the end of the day. And this is what IPO Education Foundation wants to share with the public, is the value of intellectual property.
So where can our audience go for more information?
We hope that you will try IP Buddy at ipbuddy.ai or visit our website at ipoef.org.
Thanks, Kristen, for all that info. We'll make sure we have it on our website at dailyflashshow.com.
This Saturday, Allstate and U.S. men's national team midfielder Tyler Adams unveiled a new mini pitch at Bell Avenue Elementary. It's bringing the game of soccer to the heart of the community. The goal? To expand access, empower youth, and create lasting impact through the power of sport. Check it out.
This moment is extremely meaningful to me. To open a mini pitch like this, I never thought that one day I was going to have the opportunity to do this. So really, it's a blessing to be able to give back and have the means to be able to do that. But most importantly, to partner with a company like Allstate, who is authentic to their values and has the same ambitions as I do to grow the sport, is the most important thing. So to see kids play on this later is going to be a really special thing for me. Having, my son nowadays who's going to be able to come here and run around as well and know that I'm a role model, not just to him, but also kids that are going to be able to come and play this is really, really special. I decided to partner with Allstate because we share the same values. I think it's simple for me. When I think about my legacy as a player and a role model and an athlete, a lot of what I want to do is give back to underserved communities. So I think opening up a mini pitch like this and giving access to kids, which I didn't have access to as a kid and was obviously able to have success, this is only going to boost their chances of success. So yeah, a lot of why we do this and partnering with Allstate is that they're true to their values and they have great values. So yeah, I'm excited to have that partnership.
More details are on our website at dailyflashshow.com.
Hey, welcome back to Daily Flash. It is the shadowy world of political donations and fundraising. This is today's must-watch documentary, The Dark Money Game.
In Mexico, it's a bite. In China, it's T-money. In America, it's called campaign finance.
There's a whole political world out there that runs on dark money.
When elected public officials deal with business interests, corruption and bribery take over.
Dark money led to the biggest case of political corruption in the history of Ohio.
In 2019, there was an investigation involving Matt Borges and Neil Clark. Neil had been one of the most powerful lobbyists in the history of the state.
Ready to people over.
That recording with Neil Clark and Undercovers, those were critical to connect that dotted line.
Every politician's got to have somebody that is the hitman.
The FBI asked me to essentially spy.
You're not trying to set me up here, are you? That would be bad for both of us, but it would be worse for you.
And I thought, what is he going to do?
This was an organized conspiracy on a massive scale. But I fear this case is not a one-off example.
Dark money has heralded a new era of vast corruption.
If corporate America was going to reassert its power, it had to create a counter-revolution and take political power back.
We had a little Bible verse. The wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous. So let's baptize the billionaires' money.
The Supreme Court rolled back rules on campaign finance.
Citizens United said corporations can create a super PAC.
Now, corporations could fund elections with unlimited amounts of cash.
One way you could look at it is that it's a fair fight. Another way is that both parties are corrupt.
When it comes to the power of big business, the fix seems to be in.
A tiny group of people have bought an inordinate amount of influence.
People with money will always have an advantage. Always.
Money as a way of changing the rules.
I think it's important that that happens on both sides of the aisle, not one in particular. And let's hope that this documentary is evenly handed when it comes to both sides.
I was thinking the exact same thing. That does it for our show. Y'all take care. We'll see you when we look at you. Bye-bye.